New crypto laws are coming. I'm currently looking at a 69-page document that outlines regulations for just about everything having to do with crypto, from stablecoins, illegal securities, taxes, even crypto retirement accounts. You're probably going to like some parts of this, other parts, not so much. I went ahead and read this document so you don't have to, and that way we can discuss
our own agency that No, I think that's exactly what needs to happen. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. We need to see our own agency that regulates crypto. And a lot of people in crypto, like the crypto anarchists, are going to say, oh, Jeff says there needs to be a regulatory body around crypto. Yeah, there actually does. The thing is, regulation is coming. We have to understand that. There is no question that regulation is coming.
Developments in the crypto markets and the emerging Anyhow, the third section of the report concerns developments in the crypto markets and the emerging risks this unelected and unaccountable international
New crypto laws are coming. I'm currently looking at a 69-page document that outlines regulations for just about everything having to do with crypto, from stablecoins, illegal securities, taxes, even crypto retirement accounts. You're probably going to like some parts of this, other parts, not so much. I went ahead and read this document so you don't have to, and that way we can discuss the highlights as well as my personal thoughts on what in the world's going on here. And you know what? Let's start with one that you'll probably like: taxes. See, it's not that bad. If this bill were to pass, there would be a $200 exemption of capital gains tax on crypto. This is to help encourage people to actually use crypto as currency to purchase things, which is kind of cool. But it also means $200 in general gains, no tax. It's important to note that this bill was spearheaded by Cynthia Lummis, who's a big fan of crypto. She is a senator in Wyoming, which is one of the most crypto-friendly states in the country. So if you're into crypto, she is a good person to help write these laws. However, that doesn't mean that you're going to love everything in this bill, especially if you're someone who just doesn't like rules. I'm one of those people most of the time. But moving on, the biggest sweeping piece within this proposed bill is which agencies will actually oversee crypto. That's actually been a big debate, like which governmental department should look at crypto. Most of the world figured that this would just be the job of the SEC, but this bill outlines that it would actually be split with another agency, the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. This matters because the bill breaks down normal cryptos into two major categories: ancillary assets and securities. Essentially, all digital assets will be designated as ancillary assets unless proven otherwise, then it's a security. So what is an ancillary asset? Well, ancillary essentially means to aid or supplement something. So in this instance, I think it's easiest to think of a crypto coin as an aid to its blockchain. A coin helps the blockchain, but isn't the blockchain. A coin is supplemental to the blockchain. The proposed bill then defines ancillary assets as intangible.
And Charles was talking a lot about how No, I think that's exactly what needs to happen. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. We need to see our own agency that regulates crypto. And a lot of people in crypto, like the crypto anarchists, are going to say, oh, Jeff says there needs to be a regulatory body around crypto. Yeah, there actually does. The thing is, regulation is coming. We have to understand that. There is no question that regulation is coming. It's a $2 trillion market. It's going to be a $100 trillion market in today's dollars in 20 years from now. There's going to be regulation. What we need to see is we need to see a healthy regulation that is actually going to help this space to thrive. There's nothing wrong with guardrails, but there is something wrong with tyranny. I was actually watching the interview that Crypto Capital Venture Dan, a good friend of mine, did with Charles Hoskinson yesterday, and Charles was talking a lot about how Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, especially DeFi, you can actually go into something called GovTech, government tech, and this is something Cardano's working on a lot, to help put in infrastructure and different tools and governance bodies so that you can hold the government accountable and fine the government if they're doing something wrong. So I encourage you, go watch that interview that Crypto Capital Venture did with Charles Hoskinson. Talks about probably about 50, 60 minutes into it. There is going to be government regulation and oversight of crypto, but one of the cool things people don't realize is that cryptocurrency can actually help us to have regulation and oversight of the government. That's something that we can do. So it's not a bad thing that regulation is coming. What could be bad is the way in which regulation is done. And the thing that is very interesting about that article and that release, and again, as we've said, I want to be the first one to tell you, it is an anonymous source. I hate anonymous sources, but this is what we have to go off of right now. And we did always know this was coming, so I do believe that this is true. Essentially, what's being said is that Bitcoin is a matter of national security, and the undertone there is that it's a national security threat. I do believe, funnily enough, that Bitcoin is a threat to the national, not security, but hegemony. I think that what we see right now is that the U.S. government has absolute authoritarian control over our currency, and that gives them control over any part of the economy that they desire, because money is the most important tool to keep the government to keep the economy going around, other than the public unity of the culture, and they also have control of that too. So the fact is, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question about that though. So one of the things that's bouncing around my brain when I'm trying to consider this also is, I wonder.
Anyhow, the third section of the report concerns developments in the crypto markets and the emerging risks this unelected and unaccountable international organization has identified. The authors start by saying they've been keeping a close eye on private wallets, DeFi, and NFTs over the last year, that unspecified, quote, delegations are expressing concern about the latter too, and that the private sector is having issues applying the FATF's recommendations to these crypto niches. What's hilarious is that the authors seem to take issue with cross-chain bridges in cryptocurrency because they make it possible to switch between different cryptocurrencies without an intermediary like a centralized exchange. You'd think they'd be more concerned about all the hacks and exploits. Now, the authors emphasize that the FATF's recommendations do not apply to crypto code, but stress that any individual or institution that's found to have significant control over a crypto project or protocol could find themselves face-to-face with the FATF and its cronies. This means that the only way that crypto projects and protocols can protect themselves from the wrath of the FATF is to be decentralized from top to bottom. And you can find out more about what that looks like using the link in the description. Back to the report. Next, the authors explain the FATF's stance on NFTs and confirm that, quote, NFTs that are unique and used in practice as collectibles rather than as payment or investment instruments are not VAs, generally speaking, for the purpose of the FATF standards. This is extremely bizarre, and if you watched our video about NFTs and money laundering, you'll know that's because there seems to be some shady stuff going on in that crypto niche, just like the traditional art market, which is coincidentally also not a point of contention for regulators around.